I thought like I love music. By this point, I was already in college in Boston, so um, I decided to start interviewing some musicians for C Heads, and that was really really fun. But I would do these via email. I was so shy back then. Like this is so surreal for me. So I was so
Facts.
yeah.
Yo, this is Leo Black exclusively at Dame Dash Studios, and this is the Leo Black Show.
I used to talking on mic. She got the cell phone all the time. It's
I'm
like
used to it like
facts. It's a different angle.
yeah.
Yo, my name is Leo. We at Dame Dash Studios, and this is the Leo Black Show with my special guest, Lauren.
Lauren.
But you might know her as the Chief Executive Officer of Sidewalk Talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I interviewed Leo. Oh, maybe was it a year now?
Probably was like a year. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that was like 2018 maybe.
Yeah, that's so
It was like-
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like back when I was doing it in Koreatown, and yeah, that was such a fun interview.
So how did you find Sidewalk Talk? You know, because obviously there's different ways to do interviews, but you came up with such a creative way of doing it, just like a place where you can find where it feels like home. You know, it's just like your community, your city. I mean, you're walking down a residential neighborhood, and you're talking on your cell phone. It's very like Generation Z. So I want to definitely talk about that, but also you touched on EDM first, you know, like dubstep, house music. And I'm very familiar with that world. It's some people that maybe not be familiar with the EDM world, but she's definitely contributing in a major way. So I want to talk about how you got into music, you know, and start from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually I grew up in Hong Kong pretty much my whole life until college. And with that, like the type of music that people listen to, it's canso pop or like Ed Sheeran. Like there really isn't that much. And I found a lot early on through SoundCloud or YouTube channels like Majestic Casual. I showed it to my friends, they're like, the hell is this? I'm like, can you not feel it? Like they
That's
can't
facts.
get at all. So it's kind of just like me in this bubble in Hong Kong listening to all this music. I'm absorbing everything myself and no one to share it to, which is probably like the same in like small towns here. I've like interviewed some people and they like say the same things if they're like from really rural towns. Like no one else listens to dubstep here. I'm like, yeah, I can relate.
That's facts. A lot of people out here listen to Top 40 for some
Yeah.
reason, like Carson Daly, and that's all. That's the only
Yeah.
radio station they listen to. And it's kind of hard to imagine because everyone has playlists nowadays, you know,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's hard
so
to
easy
like.
now.
It's so easy to just
Like
have
if you
your
listen
own
to Top
playlist.
40 now with all the Spotify plays, like what are you doing? So, and then I started off everything with photography actually. So I started off doing a ton of fashion photography, like campaigns and events. I shot a ton of events in Hong Kong. And then I started working with this magazine called C Heads, doing a lot of shoots with fashion models and everything. And then started interviewing them. Their stories are really similar. They're all like the same age. The background's kind of the same. So I thought like I love music. By this point, I was already in college in Boston. So I decided to start interviewing some musicians for C Heads, and that was really, really fun. But I would do these via email. I was so shy back then. Like this is so surreal for me. So I was
Facts.
like sending emails to musicians. They're not really responsive. Like it's so hard to get them to even respond to any emails, like especially like interviews. And then I was asking them like really, really deep questions and they would give me 2 lines. I'm like, are you serious? Like I'm really trying here to come
That's
up with
facts.
questions. And it limited it to 5 already. And still, because they're like touring so much, there was just 2 lines. I'm like, so I started interviewing a lot of musicians like Atlantic and stuff and in person. But I had the questions written out and I had my friend Mike who just helped me set up the interviews and help me like coordinate and do it. And I'm like, I was so shy back then that I couldn't even read, like it was all audio. It wasn't even video. Like I had to like give it to him to read out 5 questions. Like I was that shy. And so I actually still have the audio files, and I like found them back like now. I'm like, what? I interviewed like Dimitri Vegas. Like I didn't even know like back then, because now I'm like finding. I'm like, wait, I could actually upload it to iTunes because I have all the audio files. So